Hi, it's Michael Kerr here, presenting Small Business Banter. A healthy micro and small business sector means a successful economy and a more vibrant society. Small Business Banter is about helping regional business owners better prepare for current challenges, but also for the next stage of business success. I'm Michael Kerr, founder of Kerr Capital, advisors to business owners. Each week, I interview a fellow small business owner or an expert, and they share their stories, their lived experiences, the wins and the losses, and their best advice to help you, the listener, get the most you can from your own business. Small Business Banter is brought to you from the studios of 104.7 Gippsland FM and is heard across Australia on the Community Radio Network. And thanks also to Kerr Capital, supporters of the show. So welcome into another edition of Small Business Banter Community Radio and Podcast. Ron Gauci is my very special guest today. Ron, welcome in. Thanks for taking time to talk to us about business planning.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for the invitation.
Ron is a highly experienced CEO, does a lot of transformations of organisations, and the role of some of the companies includes CEO at Fed Square, CEO at Melbourne Storm Rugby Club, CEO at Melbourne Polytechnic. So there's some pretty high profile and I'm gathering quite transformational roles you had there, Ron. Now you're involved with an organisation called 24 Hours Business Planning, which is going to be the nub of our conversation today. But and in terms of themes for the listeners, what we're going to try and do is break down why business planning is so critical. We've heard that for many, many years. This time of the year, Ron and I both think it is an optimal time to start thinking about it and do something about it. We want to talk about getting the most from your business planning and what are the core elements of business planning. So again, welcome, Ron. Do you want to just give us just a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in 24-hour business planning?
Yes, thanks, Michael. So thank you for the introduction as well. The organisations you've mentioned are certainly some of the more higher profile business transformations I've been involved in, including, as I say, the Melbourne Storm Rugby League Club. But certainly there are many other organisations I've been working with over the last few decades, and whether that be from an advisory perspective or consulting, I've divided my day up into day jobs and night jobs, and the night stuff is the advisory work that I do. But some time ago, I've known Andrew Baxter, who is the founder of 24 Hour Business Plan, and he's been CEO of Ogilvy. And if you go to his LinkedIn, it's a massive of work that he's done both at the executive and non-executive levels. So he had developed a methodology behind the whole 24-hour business plan approach that was very consistent with what I'd been doing for the last few decades. But in that consistency, he developed some methodology and templates, which I thought just were so perfect for really achieving outcomes for all types of businesses or all sizes of businesses. So decided to join with Andrew's organisation. So 24-hour business plan is made up of a number of senior executives with an enormous amount of experience in this space, and they make themselves available to help businesses develop their business planning process.
What's significant in the 24-hour part of the name here?
Yeah, well, what I loved about the whole methodology was both the simplicity and the complexity. So from a simple point of view, 24-hour business plan is about 4 6-hour sessions. And you can decide when you have those 6-hour sessions, but basically there's 4 sessions that involve a process you go through to develop what ends up being quite a complex business plan. It's simple in approach. It results in a plan on a page, but behind that is a very comprehensive planning process that covers a significant part of your business. So the key takeout and the importance of planning here is that there's a lot of data that a lot of organisations aren't aware of in terms of industry trends, market research type information. So by having these 4 6-hour sessions, you get to really understand your business, your market, your objectives, your vision, your purpose, and from there obviously derives the strategic plan. And part of it is planning, and the other part is implementing the plan.
Yeah, but I like the segue to because I think there's a lot of owners that think about business planning as this long, evolving, never-ending even process, and so 24 hours, you can get a lot done in 24 hours. I think that's the critical message.
Yeah, and anyone who's worked on in those workshops, you can see just how much does actually get done with the leadership team in that whole process.
Yeah. Look, and sometimes it's just actually that commitment to getting away from your business. So we're all busy, and finding time to get away and to sit and to focus is so hard, isn't it?
Well, and that's a problem that most small to medium businesses have. The reality is that for whatever reason they got into their business in the first place, and everyone has different reasons for starting their own businesses and running their own businesses. But what tends to happen is it becomes all consuming, and you end up working in the business instead of on the business. And that's why it's so important, one, to take time out to work on the business through a strategic plan, but two, also bring in a new set of fresh eyes and ears, especially those eyes and ears that have really good understanding of your industry, to help you look at your business from a different podium, a different standpoint, which you probably don't do, because once you become consumed by your business, you tend to lose sight of why you got into the business in the first place and what you want out of it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a vortex. You're on top of everything, and you want to battle it, you want to fight it, but and deal with it, but it is a bit of a vortex which can often end in a range of things ranging from frustration to kind of stress and disaster even. In an effective business plan, and we'll get to talk about, there's business planning VIP level, and there are other business plans that are more accessible in terms of finances. But what are the key elements of a good and effective business plan?
Well, I just want to pick up the comment you made just then, Michael. If you have a look at the data, the number of small to medium businesses that don't succeed is significant, and the amount of investment that goes in, personal and financial investment that goes into it, it's something that you can actually control. You can actually make a decision, and we all know about the decision to plan or not to plan. But the reality is that it's more critical today to have a plan than ever before. The landscape is more competitive than ever before. The business challenges are greater than ever before. There is a real need to find new and better ways of doing business and finding new customers and differentiating yourselves, because we all know that the competition is quite strong out there. And business doesn't just happen. You need to have that plan. So working harder doesn't make sense, and it's not sustainable as well. So there are many techniques and processes and tools that are out there to grow your business. So to answer your question, and what are the components that come out of that? Well, we take you on a journey through that 24-hour 4x6 blocks, and we really pull apart your business. So effectively, there are 5 steps or 5 takeouts. So we showcase your purpose. It's really important that you go back to your purpose. Why did you set up the business? What is the purpose of your business? And then we summarize that purpose into culture and values. So what does your business stand for? What does it do? Who's it doing for, etc. We then specify your vision and how you can then, and it might be growing revenue, it might be an exit plan you have, but we really specify your vision in terms of a strategic plan. We detail strategies for growth, and then we summarize that action plan into goals and tactics. So, because as I said earlier, the other part is the implementation. And it's one thing to see organisations have a plan, and not everyone does, but to have a plan. and then to actually implement it effectively, particularly if you've got staff. How do you get their buy-in? How do you make sure that they're on board with the whole process? And it should be visible to your customers exactly what your business is about, why they should be dealing with you, and why they want to continue doing business with you. So they're the important takeouts in this process, and you go through that journey during those sessions.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm always deeply fascinated by, which is the first element you talked about, which is purpose, and it's a lot of owners can tend to get taken on a bit of a ride by customers demanding thing or just expectations that you should always be growing, or that you should be diverse, whatever it is, diversifying. But in SMEs, a lot of those businesses are dominated by an owner or maybe two, or a family ownership, and I think one of the things I see that is so powerful in a good planning and an ongoing attention to delivering the plan is, well, why are we in business? Do we want to be a unicorn, a billion, or do we just want to provide a good living from the business? And that's so fun. That purposing is so fundamental, and it can be, perhaps it's a bit confronting to look in and challenge yourself, but certainly makes sense to me that you be clear about what you want out of it, and from there lead your team and direct your customers.
Absolutely. And as I said earlier, everyone goes into business for different reasons. And whatever those reasons are, you want to achieve why it is you went into business. And I've been dealing with so many small to medium organisations, and the variety of reasons are there. And we deal with organisations from small, medium businesses right up to international organisations, and it doesn't change. The size of the organisation doesn't change, so that they will need to understand your purpose. And I've often said when I give presentations, there's a fine line. In fact, only 2 letters difference between the words distraction and destruction. One always leads to the other. So when you become distracted by whatever it is that's taken, consume you in your business, there's a real threat there. The whole purpose of having an understanding of your purpose is so that the decisions you make, and it's important to make informed decisions as you go, that the decisions you make allow you to achieve your purpose. And everyone should understand, both inside and outside the organisation, understand why the business is the business is that it is.
One of the great reasons for being in business, if that's what you want to do, is to shape it to suit yourself. And yes, you've got to deal with stakeholders, customers, and staff, and so on, financiers sometimes. But it is one of the things that, in inverted commas, freedom, and it can be that way, but it certainly takes some time and effort. On today's edition of Small Business Banter Community Radio, chatting with Ron Gauci from 24 Hour Business Plans, to bring into focus why an owner should consider a business plan. We've talked about kind of, I guess, that strategic level of why are we in business, where are we going, but what are some other practical uses of a business plan? I know, having been in banking for some years with small business, that the bank will often say, if you want some more money, you need to give us a business plan. But is that still a common one? And what other ways are business plans used effectively?
Well, certainly we've gone through a period where the cost of money is probably less than it ever has been, but that doesn't make it easier to access or get to. So if you are looking to go to a financier, or you're looking to sell your business or support it financially to grow your business, you still need to exhibit that you've got a plan, right? And it's not a couple of pages that says here's what I plan to do with my business. Financiers today want to, and I'm involved in a number of different organisations, as is Andrew Baxter, and where we look at business plans all the time, and small to medium businesses pitching to us quite regularly, and we can see those organisations that are organised, that have a plan that provides for good growth, solid growth, profitable growth, and the other
believable,
believable, but also sustainable. Because some growth happens so rapidly that it's not sustainable, and we see the organisations struggle as a result of it. So you need to exhibit to anyone you're pitching to, whether it's a client or to a financier or to others interested in your business, that you do have a very clear purpose for the business. You have a plan, that it's sustainable, that it's affordable, achievable. And these are the things that we go through with you. But also in the context of the marketplace, the industry intelligence we bring to the table about your marketplace and your industry is also quite critical. How are you positioning your marketplace to differentiate yourself? Because at the end of the day, there are many businesses that probably do what you do. So differentiation is really important, as well as delivering then value to both your stakeholders, which includes financiers and customers as well.
Yeah. The I don't know how different it is, but from say 20, 30 years ago when competition was it a bit more obvious then, that whereas now you can be disrupted. Well, lots of industries are being disrupted by competitors from with new ways of doing things that you've possibly never heard of.
Yeah.
And this is the marketing. Part of planning is understanding the environment that you work in, that you operate in, and it's really hard to get that when you're at your desk or on the tools or whatever it is you do.
I often talk about the three types of people there are. Those who actually go out and make things happen. They're the ones that disrupt. There are those that have had things happen to them, and they're the ones that are being disrupted. And then there are those that just watch things happen, and they tend to be the passengers, right? So when you are in business, your only options are to disrupt or be disrupted. And I think the last few years, particularly with the pandemic, has highlighted just how many businesses got disrupted, but also the opportunists out there that saw that as a means to disrupt and create new markets. So I think as you look around you, you can see so many different aspects of that, whether we see that through accommodation, transportation, food delivery services and all that. We've seen innovation come to the fore. Innovation doesn't just happen. That comes with a very clear a clarity of thought, and it comes with a very strong strategic plan. So that's why it's important when you develop your plan, you look at all aspects of your business and the industry and the market and the opportunities that present themselves, including, at the end of the day, your customers or clients. What are their needs and how are you meeting those needs? So, and a simple example of that, it was a food delivery service. The need to still want to eat out but not be able to leave your home created a whole new opportunity for various markets. So depending on your business, there's so many opportunities to innovate, but you're not going to innovate if you remain insular in your thought process. So what we do is we go through, with all the multiple disciplines that we bring to the table, we look at a comprehensive 360-degree of view of your business, your industry, and your market as well.
It's it's certainly you can see why some owners just put their head down. It seems to be as chaotic and hectic as it's ever been. But a lot of the owners that I deal with in my core business are more at the end where they're starting to think about getting out of their business. And so, I was thinking then as you're talking that an exit plan could still be highly effective, because it kind of if you are going to sell, the next owner, if they're going to survive, needs to deal with those challenges. So you need, you may not deal with them front on, but you need to be aware of them to be able to say, look, this is why the business is set up to, to deal with these future challenges.
Well, if you're wanting someone, Michael, if you're wanting someone to buy your business, then what are they buying? What does that business look like? Is that business totally dependent on the proprietor? And if that's the case, then I'm not sure too many organisations or business people want to buy the business that is dependent and reliant on a person, for example. And that's why when businesses do get sold that revolve around a particular individual, there are the handcuff clauses. that tie people to the business. So so they're all the factors you need to consider. If you truly want to have an exit plan, then what does your business look like to the buyer?
Yeah, and there are ways to get out of your business where it's owner-centric. But what it means is you just need to be planning a lot earlier, because you're going to be tied and you're going to have an earn-out or work for them or whatever it is. But so with a small business owner listening in, where do you go? Who do you talk to about? And I know your organisation does incredibly high quality business planning for a range of organisations. But are there professionals that do business planning? Is it an accountant? Are there business planning people, professionals? How does the industry of planning work?
Yeah, look, there's no question that you've got to get your financials right and your ownership structure right, etc. So there's certainly a role for the accountants and the lawyers and the likes. But I think to answer your question more simply, Michael, is if you come to 24-hour business plan, we start at the basics, that is getting your strategic plan right, and then we look at what else is needed in the business, so that 360-degree view that I referred to. And because we've got such a strong base of experts in the field that have been there and done that, but also our network is extremely strong. If you go in, have a look at the people involved in 24-hour business plan and our LinkedIn profiles and our connections, we can bring significant expertise to the table. We can make it a lot easier than having to go and cast the net out and find the right accountants or the right lawyers or the right marketing people and the like. So it's always good to use your network. I always say in Australia there's 2 degrees of separation. That you can get to anyone you like if you got the right person in your network, and we can assist with that, no question.
Yeah, I think part of when I do a lot of work on the sale and planning for sale, and I pose the same question sometimes to owners, that their long-standing trusted accountant lawyer may or may not be the best for this particular instance where, and I gather also that you're very strong on this idea that you need all that expertise to get a plan completed and the time and energy, but you also got to implement it. And that's where standing alone as a business owner, is it can be limiting. You've got to, and we've seen the rise of advisory boards and mentoring and business coaching and the service and the value they can bring would be so much higher where there's a clear plan and you can extrapolate to them what it is.
And you've just touched on some other areas that aren't so obvious to small business owners, but are still critical around governance, OH&S, cybersecurity, the number of cyber attacks on small to medium businesses. That's why owning a business today can be quite daunting and, as I say, consuming. And in fact, can even affect mental health as an issue. So that's why it's so important to have the right people around you who are providing you with the support required. Because it's the challenges for small business operators today have never been so great.
Yeah. Look, and so putting your head up and reaching out and talking, whether it be it can be to trusted advisors. I think these external parties like coaches and mentors, advisory boards are really powerful, but also these informal networks where business owners with other business owners. No one knows what it's like compared to someone else that's been through it and
that's right,
come up the other side there.
And that's why every one of our consultants and senior advisors have been there, done that. We've got all the war wounds and scars. So,
coming up to the end, Ron, I just wanted to really quickly, what an owner's thinking about planning and they're putting kind of in their head that this is too expensive, too much time. What do you say to them about the compelling case to do it? Put you on the spot there.
Firstly, the objections we get is that I've already got a plan. Really? Well, maybe if you have, it's also good to bring someone in to have a look at that and see just how robust the plan is. Yeah. So there's that. But the other is I don't have time. We hear that objection frequently, or I don't have the money. the investment required for their small business, for the 24-hour business plan for a small business, is actually far more minimal than it's smaller than you think. Right? The investment is really quite small. The obvious response to that is, can you afford not to? So think if you are financially literate, think about what the cost of a minimal investment is versus the cost of not doing anything at all. And what if your business was not to succeed? What would be the cost to you, your family, your staff, etc.? I think when you think about it in those terms, it's certain, all the data points to the fact that anyone with a good plan has a better chance of succeeding than those that don't have a plan at all. So we can give you massive data on that.
Yeah. Look, Ron, we're right out of time. So can you just shout out your name and where people to find you? We'll add that to the links in the show notes.
Sure.
But thank you so much for your time today before we do close out.
Yeah, no, thank you, Michael. I guess the best thing to do is to go to the website, which is www.24, the digit 24 HRBP, which stands for 24-hour business plan. So 24hrbp.com.au, and you'll have a massive information there, plus an expression of interest template there. Otherwise, go to my LinkedIn, Ron Gauci is on LinkedIn, and also so it's GAUCI, or Andrew Baxter as well, who's the founder of the organisation.
Thanks, Ron, for your time today. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Michael.
So that is all for today's episode of Small Business Banter. I continue to be inspired, bringing you small business experts and other small business owners and hearing their stories. If you want to listen to any past episode, jump onto your podcast platform of choice and search Small Business Banter. There you will find a diverse and fascinating collection of small business owners and experts openly discussing and sharing their experiences. For any of the links, resources, or information we've talked about on the show today, or to contact me, please head over to smallbusinessbanter.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And it would be great to have you tune in the same time next week for another episode of Small Business Banter.